Okay, so right now we have Robyn Mussler is here to speak on igniting the next generation of creators and leaders. In her presentation, Igniting the Next Generation of Creators and Leaders, Robyn will be speaking about allowing your young, brilliant minds to step into their greatness and develop their life's toolkit and preparing them for whichever pathway they choose. She will speak about the different ways we need to educate our kids in this new world of ours, not to just survive, but thrive. Understanding what it takes in this world of disruption to figure out how to rise above with a growth mindset. She will discuss the fundamental building blocks, skills to prepare our youth and bridge the skills gaps between education and the business world to adequately prepare them for their adult journey. Robyn will demonstrate how this is done with highlights from her award-winning Next Gen Tech 360 program, a way for communities to develop their local talent, allowing everyone to benefit, emphasizing the focus on innovation, resiliency, perseverance, and true grit. She will talk about how we can all learn to connect the dots to think and act more creatively and creating opportunities for a thriving community. The future is now. Thank you, Robyn. You go ahead and take it away. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And here I'm going to pull up can everybody see my screen?
Yes. Looks good.
All right. So again, thank you for having me. My name is Robyn Mussler, and I'm the author and chair of Next Gen Tech 360 and the founder of Connected 360, a non-for-profit. So I'm sure that all of you have been in this situation, and I do find myself almost every day being in this situation to some degree. And we all know that there's a better way to handle things. So throughout our journey in life, there are many different roads for us to navigate through to get to our desired destination. Some are simple and some are short. And those that are locked into our muscle memory, we consider them as part of our comfort zone. Yet other roads are a little bit more complex and a little bit longer, and they take a little bit more of a challenge to navigate through, to get from one point to the other. In today's world, it is full of constant disruptions. And in order to innovate, we have to figure out through these different pathways which road to take. And hopefully that road has not been taken away. But constantly being challenged to determine, to shift our mindset, to step out of our comfort zone, and to seek a different path. Combined with our ability to step into our greatness, adapt a different style to overcome obstacles that will determine the roads and pathways that we end up taking to our desired destination. As of late, especially this past year, right, we have been just inundated with challenges, but this did not just start this year. Prior to this year, we've had challenges all over the place from industry, educators, and students. One of the challenges in our world today is that we've got so much overload of information and technology. So industry is just not being able to keep up, and they are not able to get the skills and resources that they need. Students, they're hard to motivate. They have lack of real world experience, and they're struggling to stay up with technology trends. So our students, they're lacking motivation and direction. And the future, they're not too sure what that is supposed to look like. In this world of digital disruption, it's forcing companies, but also schools, to rethink the way that we teach and the way that we do things. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to put you in the driver's seat. And what I'd like you to do is just to do something simple. So I can't see any of you, but I'd like you to put your hands together and I'd like you to clap. So 1, 2, 3, clap. So how did that feel? Did that feel comfortable? Did it almost seem like muscle memory that you didn't really even have to think about it? So this time I would like you to clap again, but pay attention to which hand actually goes on top. So are you ready? 1, 2, 3, freeze. So how many of you have your right hand on top when you clap? Research indicates that you are the most intelligent people in the world. And for those of you who have their left hand on top, you are the most creative and innovative out there. And then there are some that are kind of in the middle and they are unique. But ultimately, what it shows us is that we all have our different ways in our comfort zone. So now I'd like to challenge you. I'd like you to pay attention and I want you to clap again, but I want you to tell your brain to clap the other way, the way that you're not comfortable with. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, clap. Now, did you actually clap the other way? Or did muscle memory click in and you clapped the way that you normally do? So, all right, let's try this one more time and let's pay conscious effort of clapping the other way. 1, 2, 3, clap. How did that feel? Did it feel uncomfortable? A little unsettling? But let me ask you something. If you, in any given moment, needed to be able to change your mindset, to shift it, to do something differently, do you think that you could? Just like in a circumstance, if you were in a situation where you could no longer clap the way that you are accustomed to, you could teach yourself and you could change that to be your new norm. Yes, you could. Um, so now let's step and calibrate into our inner compass. How do we navigate through this world of 24/7 technology and information coming at us at a rapid speed? Right when we think we have things mastered, the roads change or they no longer exist, and we need to figure out a different way. Well, my background is technology, and I help my customers develop and implement systems and processes to be more efficient and profitable. I am a problem solver. I love solving problems. About 7 years ago, I came across a very interesting problem quite by accident. I was asked to be a judge at a high school technology competition, and let's say it wasn't reflective of industry. So I offered to give my expertise and put something together that would be a little bit more reflective of industry that could help our youth have a better understanding of the world of technology, of the different skills and career paths that they could enter into. What is so exciting about this program, so little did I know when I said that it was going to be life-changing for me. But what's so great about this is I get the two different worlds. I get to work with our young creative minds who are just fresh and crisp with creativity. And then I get to work alongside my colleagues who are experts in their field. And one of the things that we do is together, we are solving real world problems and building viable products to take to market. The success of this program is that both sides are forced to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, working towards one common goal to develop a product, a viable solution to solve a problem together. They, while this is happening, we are helping the next generation to develop and build their toolkit to be prepared for the real world, no matter which career path they choose. Why is one's toolkit so important, you may ask? A person's toolkit allows them to be prepared to navigate through the different obstacles, through those different windy roads that are presented in front of us in our forever changing world. It allows us to put ourselves in the driver's seat, to be the best driver to get to our desired destination. A few winters ago, my family and I, we went to Yellowstone and we were at the Wild Bill Museum, and I found this display fascinating because what it made me realize is that through history, we have always needed a toolkit. We have always had a life's toolkit. So many of those skills are still the same. It's actually the tools that we end up needing to use depending on what our environment is. And as you can see, security is a very common one, interesting enough. And I was just amazed to see the simplicity and the portability. And it made me realize how many basic skills we have in common in our toolkits. Now, I do believe that this is a tool that you are all much more comfortable with. I am sure that every single person, you have it on your desk, in your pocket, in your purse, in your briefcase, somewhere very close to you. And go ahead and pull it out. And you can take a picture of this moment in time being around the most intelligent and creative people on the planet. Our future creators and leaders need to have this growth mindset. We all know that this tool that you see in front of you is far from perfect. Even though many of us struggle to part with our phone, it has become an essential part of our life. And these features that work, some of them work well and others not so much. And I think that there's really more not so much happening lately. So I asked, what technology will replace your cell phone? And again, you will be put in that situation that you will need to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. Changing that mindset to accept a new tool, to accept a new way. What do you think our new tools will look like in a year, 3 years, 10 years from now? At the rate of change, you know it will be significant. In this world of disruption we live in, nothing seems to quite fit or make sense anymore where it once did. You may ask, what are the essential skills we need for our life's toolkit? Would you like me to share them with you? So you may ask, why does a great customer experience matter? Well, the reason a great customer experience matters, that if I'm going to be innovative, if I'm going to be creative, and I'm developing a product or service for a customer, I need to understand them. And we don't do that enough. For example, in my program, Next Gen Tech 360, the total focus of that program is on the customer value and the customer experience. And this past year, my students actually, they got to see the big, the bad, and the ugly of technology, the behind the scenes of, you know what? That's not the greatest experience. And so the better that you understand how other people's experiences are, what their differences are, and what attracts them and maybe, turns them away is so essential, not in just building product, but developing teams and also forming successful communities that are working together. So you may ask, what is the difference about our next generation? Well, I will tell you, there is a big difference of our next generation. You are talking about youth who have been brought up from a baby with information and technology at their beck and call 24/7 a day. They are a million times more brilliant than we could ever be. Their processors are uh, very sharp, whereas in, at least myself, so, my generation, we waited each month to get a publication to know what were the new innovations, what were the new products and that sort of thing. And now it's almost changing, every hour. And so the difference here is that their brains are multidimensional, and we have been teaching them linear. And so they know when you are not being relevant. They understand that, they've got all these fragments around there. And what they're seeking to do is to connect those dots to be able to put sound solutions together. And so the method in which we need to work with them is not in this linear pace, it is multidimensional. It is about connecting. It's about having the courage to open new networks for expansion, collaboration, and transformation. And through this, we are constantly challenging what we see in our path and looking for a better way. The way that I developed my program, I happened to have a 18 and 21-year-old. So at that time, they were 6 years younger. But even today, every single year, I'm continually asking my students to get feedback, because it's not about me showing them what I know. It is about their ability to comprehend the concepts that I am teaching them. And so it's about understanding their differences and then having that exchange to see things a different way, that through that collaboration, it helps you transform, but also it allows them to develop and grow into their desired opportunity. It is time for community to get back together. And how do we empower innovation in our community? One of the ways is breaking down that technology wall, where so many at some point in time, it was considered its own vertical, but it really is woven into the fabric of our daily lives, both personal and professional. It is about driving clarity and showing relevance to what we are putting together. And most importantly, it's about community. It is about educating teachers and students through hands-on experiential learning. And it's about mentors in our industry being a part of this development. So a so-called different type of apprenticeship where we are developing our own local talent. We don't need to go elsewhere. What we need to do is pay attention to our youth and be a part of their lives and help share our expertise while they share their beautiful ideas and help us form new products and services. And lastly, through that beautiful partnership, this energy is so contagious. I will tell you, in my program, it's amazing how excited all the kids get and the mentors. I've had mentors and judges who have been in the program for the whole 6 years that I've been doing it. And it's because they know they're making a difference. And they also know that what we are teaching them is relevant to the real world and that they are making a profound impact. When somebody doesn't sense that they're able to make a difference and have value, that is when they turn away. And that's what we need to prevent from happening. It's about putting together a community framework where there's partnerships between education and business, and just getting involved, dropping our egos, and doing what is best to help develop our youth that has just extremely raw talent, putting in real programs of what we do in the real world and helping them develop those skills to be successful. And the time is right now. So I will tell you, this year, more importantly, I had to pivot. So I actually turned my curriculum into a micro learning mobile platform that now makes it scalable, that I can go across the globe, and I can get any community on board within a week or two. I also am working with a virtual high school to create, it's going to be launching this summer, an innovation fundamentals 1 and 2 course, so that now all kids can benefit from understanding to develop these critical thinking, problem solving, communication, team building, overcoming obstacles. It's about having that growth mindset. And what has happened in this past year, all that we have had is limitations. The enemy of creativity and innovation is limitation, and we need to stop that now. It doesn't matter what is going on in our pathway. There is always a way to solve problems. There is always a way to step above and move forward. Here, I've identified 7 key skills in working with our youth that is so important. So number 1 is critical thinking and being creative. Our education system is stamping out creativity. My program stamps it back into them because we want them to know, we want them to experience. Our world is not black and white. 6 plus 3 equals 9. 5 plus 4 equals 9. 7 plus 2 equals 9. And that's what we need them to understand, that when they come across something that they're not getting the expected result, that they need to do an evaluation and say, is there another way? With what I have in my fingertips, is there a solution that I can come up with? There always is a solution. It might not be what you think, it might not be the most ideal, but for that particular situation, it is what's right. Digital fluency, of course, is so essential, but it's not throwing digitization at people. It's not saying, oh, here you go, here's a lesson. I've given it to you, now you should know it. No, it's about that human connection. It is about working together and having the digital world as a tool, but never getting rid of that human element. And then, of course, it's that customer obsession, just really understanding how different people are and how they contribute to building successful products, services, business communities. And through that, it's effective communication with team collaboration, skills that are complementary. We don't need to be the same, nor do we want to be the same. It is about how we complement and how we own up on our communication, no matter what type of conversation that is, to solve problems and to have that growth mindset. And of course, what we have experienced so much over this past year, it's resiliency and adaptability. And I have to add true grit, because this year it was true grit that we were able to come through this program and have a set of finalist teams that have just rocked it out of the park this year. And then lastly, understanding that global connection and what the different cultures and backgrounds and how we do things similar and where that's appropriate, and when there's things that are different, how that could be. So celebrating our similarities and differences all at the same time. In your effort to make a toolkit, we're designing the roads and pathway to our desired destination. I challenge you to try something completely different to expand your capabilities and opportunities, shifting your mindset to look at things from another way, a different perspective, just getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Don't be afraid to get messy and be resilient through the process. In other words, be creative, connect, and innovate. Each of our life's toolkit will be unique for each of us, depending on our strengths and our experiences. The skills connected to our toolkit are the foundation, no matter how our world changes or the type of tools we end up needing to use. Next time you find yourself confused, frustrated, overwhelmed, know that this is a sign of creativity just trying to like get themselves out of there. It's striving to come out. Turn that emotion into your drive to create something better. Look at problems that need solving. Stop waiting for permission or someone else to lead the way and step out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to give up the good, because there's so much great that is at such a higher level that we're capable of accomplishing. And you will never know until you start connecting the dots where your path may lead. So don't be afraid to take the wrong path, because as you can see right here, there are so many pieces that make up our own package that make us unique, that allow us to tap into our creativity to go a different way. So if we test it out and it turns out maybe not so good, it's okay, because we've learned from that. And the lesson is such a valuable piece to help us in our destination. So I just wanted to thank you, that I'm honored to be with the most intelligent and creative people on the globe. And I can't wait to see everybody connect. I will tell you that it's all about resiliency, and it's resetting. Every single day, we have a choice that we can make. We can choose to make better choices. We can choose to try something new and get uncomfortable. Because guess what? Once we do that, now we have a comfort level that then now we try something else that we're uncomfortable with. So it's about that continuous growth. And like I said, the time is now, because our kids have actually, due to this whole situation, have really kind of withdrawn. And we can't let that happen, because we, no matter what, need to see that path forward to connect the dots to our desired destination. I would like to, thank you all for coming and joining, and invite you to connect and be a part of our Connect It 360 community and see what our program is about. It's exciting, and we're expanding and looking to make it mainstream so all of our communities can benefit.
Thank you, Robyn. Thank you so much. Let me pull my video back on. There we are. That was so interesting. So you're complete with your presentation, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. So very, very interesting. I put the links to your website and actually your LinkedIn connection as well for people to be able to connect with you. But so interesting. So as I was listening to you speaking, and I thought, as a mom with 15-year-old and 21-year-old as well, particularly with my 21-year-old, it was really interesting because he went to college and didn't really know what he wanted to do and felt really, really lost that he didn't know what to do. And we said, you don't have to decide on what your life is. You're 18 years old, pick something, anything, and just you don't know where that path is going to lead you. And that he really, really struggled with that. And in listening to you talking, you're talking about how to help connect those dots. As parents and people in the community, how do we do that? How do we This generation is very different than anything that we're used to, and they're used to, like, I was talking to somebody the other day, COVID really didn't do much because my kids weren't really super active anyways. Always been in the house, and so it's just a different world. And how do we help foster some of those connections?
Oh, very good question. So I will tell you, what I really think that we need to do is we really need to promote our kids to figure out what their own purpose is, to really do that self development, to get comfortable with who they are. We've all been there, right? As young kids, it's clunky, it's awkward, and so many different things going on. But I will tell you, one of the things in working with these kids for the past 6 years that I've really noticed is they are really good kids. So all this stuff that you hear about Gen Zers, I'm sorry, but I take offense, because what I think the problem is that us as adults, we are not taking ownership and accountability of our part in their lives. And so you can't say, here you go, child, go and raise yourself or go do your own thing. You have to be a part of that life, and you have to help coach them. So, for example, in my program, we do not make any decisions for them. But as we are teaching them skills, we allow them, as we are teaching them, we are saying, you may want to consider this. And we allow them to make their own decisions, because that's the only way that they learn. And so I think another thing from what you're saying, um, I've had my fair share of like helicopter parents, and, parents getting too involved in their kids' lives as far as wanting to control the outcome. So we shouldn't be wanting to control them. What we should be wanting to do is to put them in experiences that allow them to test the waters, okay, that allow them to see, oh, this feels good, it doesn't feel good. And it's also putting that discipline in their life, right? It's not caving in and going, oh, here's the phone because I don't, I'm too distracted to pay attention to you. It's helping them to like seek out and be adventurous and go, let's do an art class, let's go for a hike, and just to like understand their different surroundings and question them and see what part they have. It's really interesting. So my son, when he was like, I don't know, fourth grade, fifth grade, something like that, he was struggling a little bit with English. Okay. And so the tutor that I had at the time, she was gun ho that you've got to do fundamentals, like going back to basics and this and that. And I'm like, oh no, I thought it was really ridiculous. And I told her, I go, now that I have seen what she has done, if you realize it, learning your language is the first coding of your brain. So if we are not coding a child's brain properly and paying attention to it, we are doing them an injustice. So for example, I speak a second language because I've lived in South America and I've lived in Europe, right? And I will tell you, so learning that second language, I can only learn it to the ability that I know my own language. So if I don't know to structure a sentence, if I don't know how to conjugate verbs, I don't know how to do critical thinking. I don't know how to problem solve and troubleshoot, because I would just take for face value that, oh, that's how it is. And that's why now in time is so critical, is our kids cannot go by a checklist. They cannot think that there's just a certain way to do things, because that's not how life is. And especially how technology is, we need them to troubleshoot. We need them to be able to call out and go, oh my gosh, that system isn't working, or like there's an intrusion or something like that. We need them to have those skills, not only for us but for them, right? And to be able to make better things for themselves. One of the things I will tell you that I found very interesting through this program that I didn't anticipate at all is many of the kids who have come to the program, bright kids, okay, but not a whole bunch of self-confidence. And I think it's a couple of things. Parents doing too much for them, but also, a lot of the, what goes on with kids of just teasing and back and forth. But one of the things that we've noticed with the program is it builds kids' confidence. So if you think about it, if you have confidence, now you're going to be creative. Now you're going to be innovative. So without confidence, you really can't be either of those. And so all we have done is when they have tried something, they come to us and they say, well, this really didn't work. And they are expecting us to either get upset or to tell them that they have to quit. And we go, this is great. So now let's figure out, like, what is the situation? What decisions do we make now? So what we've showed them is to really be comfortable with that uncomfortable and say, you know what, taking a risk is not bad. I just figured something out. It actually helped me learn. We had a team this year, so we just had final presentations last week. And this team, they a month before final presentations, they lost all of their code because their head developer had it on a thumb drive and he lost it. So he learned a very valuable lesson that, okay, how many backups do you need to have? But what was even more impressive about this team is they said, you know what? We're not giving up. And they actually did all of that work and they came up with a better product as a result. And it was actually a functioning product within a month to present to the judging panel. So, it's really about pushing them to their capabilities, not for what you want them, but what is best for them and who they are as an individual.
And I think in listening to you say that too, it's so important that we teach our kids and not and for ourselves too, but to advocate for themselves. That's what you're talking about. So they
Yes.
have to learn how to advocate for themselves, which is very tough to teach. Or you have to model it. You have to model it as a parent, but you also have to model like exactly what you were just saying. And my mind is spinning about how they have to learn how to fail, and the decisions have consequences and all those things, which are just such life lessons. But it just feels like the world is definitely shifting, and somehow we're not able to get the kids this information. We learned a lot of stuff out that way when your bike chain comes off your bike and you have to fix it yourself or walk home. There wasn't a parent that was going to come get you. You had to
Right.
learn, and you were 10 miles away, who even knows where. My husband used to ride his bike. I would never have let my children do what, we got to do as kids because the world changed, but we missed out a lot of that kind of common sense education by the new environment and the new world that we're living in.
Right. And I will tell you what, like I said, what I've really noticed this year, because I really had to pull these kids out of funks. And I was like, wait a minute, I know you guys are bright. And so all I did is I took like 15-minute sessions, just said, guys, let's talk things through. And all I did was help them see what they were working on and say, Have you looked at it this way? And now all of a sudden the excitement ignited. And as parents, as educators, we have to do that for our kids. It really, it is about, they are our future. And they, like I said, they are bright. And I will dispute that with anybody,
Mhm.
because I've pulled it out of kids that you would think were nothing. And I've always believed that everybody has a value. It's just different. And so everybody has different capacities too. And it's okay. It's respecting what somebody has to contribute. And through that respect is where you really can start developing and growing, right? And if they have that trust in you, then they will blossom. And we all need our tribe that is in our back corner to say, hey, because no matter how well or not life goes, we need people surrounding us. That is how we are as human beings, and that is what also helps us get through the bad times. And it really is through those difficult challenges that where we develop and grow the most.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I was just thinking, you help people shine with their gifts. I always tell my
Yes.
kids, if it's something that's not, I'm like, I'm not good at this. I always just tell them this is not my gift. My gift is in other areas. My gift is talking to people while we're on moderating an internet virtual event.
Yeah.
But math, not so much my gift,
Yes.
and so use your gifts, finds out the ways to use your gifts. And I think that that's something else that they need to hear it. It's a gift. These are gifts. Your gifts are different than my gifts. They're going to be different, so embrace that. How do we get in touch with you, Robyn? Or how do we get, I mean, I put your links in the side, but how do I get my child involved in a program like this?
So I would say reach out to me, right? We are also I would say that depending on what community you are in, have that either institution or business that could be interested to reach out to me. So I'm Robyn at connected360.org. And so you said that you did give my information.
Mhm.
We do have, you can get a hold of us through there. And we right now, our award ceremony is going to be in 10 days. And I will tell you, after that, we are full force looking at communities to be able to help, because that's what really is needed. I'm really looking to mainstream our program so that all kids can benefit, right? We want to see them all just have the skills that help them thrive and be successful in this world of ours, because they all can be, but what success is for one is different, for everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I put your email that you just gave me. Also, I put that in the chat so people can reach you there as well. Do you have any other closing thoughts for anything, Robyn? This was an amazing presentation.
Oh,
I'm so
well, thank you.
excited.
I would just say, what, just that growth mindset, innovation, that's what to me life is all about. And let's just help each other, build our communities that we are able to have, help each other through and build incredible, innovative products and services, and not put up with what we have, right? Like I said, on a daily basis, everybody has at least 10 things that they're going, oh my God, this doesn't work. That doesn't work, right? And it is because they are not designing it for their customer. It's more for tech for the sake of tech. And so, like I said, the focus here is it's all about the customer. It's all about developing something with a purpose. And if we can do that and work together as a community, because community is so essential to our well-being, right? And so that's what I want to see is us, all sides of community, getting together to help develop our talent.
And learning how to come together and be a community, teaching
Yes.
this generation how to be a community, and that it's okay to be community, that you're stronger as a community.
Well, and also that, everybody has different skills. So it's like,
Mhm.
don't judge just because somebody else might have a different avenue or pathway that they want to choose, if they're good at it and it makes them feel good and it's their purpose, that is fine. If they're contributing to society, that's the main thing. That's what it's really about, right? Because that's where we do feel good. And it's about servicing where we really come into our own. And it's pulling out that genius inside of them because they all have it.
That's right. Just got to tap into it.
Yep.
Well, Robyn, thank you so much. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Thank you for all the work that you do for our children and the generations that are ahead. And I hope that more people can get in touch with you and help spread this word and this mission as well.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a
All
great
right.
afternoon.
You too. Take care.